I put a poll out on my community post, and this is what you guys voted for. This is how you want to torture me. This is what you want to see. I cannot believe that I am getting ready to read a fantasy book. I actually did a lot of research to decide which fantasy book I should read. The only reason I ended up going with Fourth Wing is because it's extremely popular, and I listened to a few interviews by the author, Rebecca Yarros, and she wrote the book with everyone in mind, all readers, not just fantasy readers, and I appreciate that. Basically, we are following our main character, Violet, and she's basically like in training to be a dragon rider, and so the book is actually slightly violent. You can picture the fighting scenes. She also suffers from a chronic illness, which I absolutely love. So she's almost like an underdog. She's really short. It's really cute. Like, it's really descriptive. I came close to DNFing it. You guys know, if you're not new, I will DNF a book, but I was like, okay, let me do some reviews. And even people who read fantasy, it's supposed to just be like this. It's definitely not a slow paced book. It gets right into it, like immediately, which I absolutely love. I did actually get this book on Audible first. It was on sale for $7.99. Could not believe it. So I bought it there first. I'm like, let me just get into it. Let me try it out. Definitely was like barely holding my interest. I was like zoning off. And then it wasn't until chapter 8 that I was like, all right, I'm feeling it. Let's go ahead. Let's get the physical copy. I really wanted the special edition. It's beautiful. It's red, it's black, it's gold. It has the sprayed edges. It's lit. Fantasy books are just always a vibe. They just always look so nice. I mean, look at the inside of this. Just beautiful. Like, they spend so much money on making these books beautiful, and I can definitely appreciate that. But the book is almost like $30, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna like it enough to spend $30 on it. So Violet has been attracted to Xaden for a while, and actually he wants to kill her. Her mother is like famous, basically. Like, I forgot. Like, again, we're on a journey together, okay? Like, I am so lost. I'm not so lost. It's just, again, I was drifting off, so I forgot the importance of what her mother does, but she's a really big deal. A lot of people died at the hands of her mother, and so Xaden and a lot of people at this school, they basically want to kill her. She has like this hate relationship with him, but she also has an attraction to him and certain things about him. And it's just so funny because even as the reader, you're like, he might be a little cute, a little spicy, you know? So I just think that is so funny. But they finally just had like a conversation, and she just was kind of like, look, just kill me already. Like, usually she's nervous, doesn't really want to be alone with him, but now she's like, just do it. I'm tired of the anticipation. Just kill me already. And he's like, part of the fun is you not knowing when it's gonna happen. So I'm like, okay. And yes, we did get new headphones, darling. The other ones that I got in like the James Patterson video, they were like resting on the ear, and I had like this ear piercing, and it was like smashing into my ear. Totally uncomfortable. If you're gonna get the over-the-head earphones, you might as well get the ones that go over the ear. So we did go ahead and get the Beats Pro, and I love them. It was perfect timing to get these headphones so that I can jam out to this playlist. I just feel like the playlist sets such a vibe, and I am so here for the vibes. this was a bit of a nightmare. I absolutely hate that coffee maker, and I think I'm gonna take it back. Our other Keurig, it broke, which really sucks. It was so nice. It had the frother and everything. I really wanted the Nespresso, but I don't know which one to get, and we have so many K-cups left. I was not going to waste them. Girl, this mini is not what's up. It's probably just me. I don't care. I'm annoyed to the max, so I'm probably just gonna take that back. But anyway, let's do a very fast, and I mean very fast, update about Fourth Wing, because we are actually getting ready to go to Tristan's first home basketball game. If you are new here, Tristan is my oldest daughter. She's away at college playing basketball, so we are so excited and extremely proud of her. It's so funny. I understand why these books are so thick. You do get to fall in love with these characters. You get to really like them. It was a challenge that Violet had to complete in order to be able to be chose by a dragon, and I was so excited and emotional, like as if I actually knew her. So like I said, she passed her challenge, so she was able to pick out her dragon. I'm sorry, they pick out a rider. The dragon gets to pick their rider. The person doesn't choose. And it's so cool because Violet actually ends up making history when it comes to the dragons. I thought that was very interesting, very cool, very empowering for women, especially because she's such an underdog. She doesn't have the best height advantage, and then her chronic illness makes her not the strongest, and so it's really cool. The dragon that ends up picking her is so big, and he's powerful, he's serious but also nice, he can read minds, he's sarcastic, he's just so cool. Like, I really like him. And I did figure out what it is that her mother's title is. Her mother is basically the commanding general, so she's a big deal. I'm just getting ready to start chapter 21, I believe, and it's good. The second book actually comes out November the 7th, and I'm strongly considering buying the second book just because I'm really invested in the characters. I get it now when it comes to fantasy. It's just the investment of the story, the world, and the characters, and you really just start to have a connection with these people, and you are invested in knowing what is going to happen to them. So I'm not saying I'm a fantasy girl, but I am saying that I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to understand it, and I am open to exploring this particular series a little bit further. But first, we do have to see how this one ends. We're reading this on the road, and I will give you guys an update later.
Gang, gang, y'all. Big dog TC back in the cut.
Tristan.
Where my dad and my little sister.
All to not hold this up at all. Right.
We are back home, and it is time to give you guys an update. It was so nice to see Tristan. She was so happy we were there, and I was glad that I had the book with me because I was able to get a lot of reading done. I'm finally getting ready to start chapter 27, and it's a really cute book. One thing I haven't heard people bring up is that it is also a story about friendships. I know a lot of people really zero in on like the romance, but more than romance, it's really about Violet finding herself. She's a 20-year-old girl. She's got issues with family and her health issues, just acceptance issues, and normal things that people are dealing with at 20 years old. She's also interested in Zayden, someone that she shouldn't be interested in. She has so much attraction to him. It's a very slow burn with what they have going on. Normally, I'm not like the biggest fan of something so slow like this when it comes to romance, but it just allows you to focus on all the other stuff. It's only 39 chapters, but that's a lot in fantasy world. So I still have this much. Look, that is a lot. I still have that much to go. Chapter 27. Whew, it got real intense. It got real passionate. The playlist is a vibe. It's just a lot. Oh. What is a Griffins?
Oh, Griffin? It's a lion with wings.
Ah. Husband knows all the stuff. Oh my God. The way I can picture this scene that just occurred between Zayden and Violet. Great visuals, great storytelling. I'm just eating it up. I love the dragon. I just love the dragon. So the dragon, he ends up modifying his seed or whatever. And Violet is like, oh my God, that's not allowed. I can't use that because, again, she has a chronic illness. And so she's trying her best to stay on her seat, but she's not as strong. And so sometimes she's unable to. The dragon, he says, there is no rule that says a dragon cannot modify their seed to serve their rider. You have worked just as hard, if not harder, than every rider in this quadrant. Just because your body is built differently than others doesn't mean you don't deserve to keep your seat. Oh my God, how can you not love this dragon? Shady. Oh my God, I'm having way too much fun reading this book. Listen, I even started crying. I was like, not me crying. What is going on? Oh, I would have been done reading it, but we went to church and then now we're back home, obviously. I don't know how many pages because I was told don't go to the last page because it's going to spoil it for you. I guess the book just kind of ends with a massive cliffhanger. And then they said you immediately, if you liked it, you want to get the next book. So I'm not going to see how many pages are in the book, but I'm on page 461. Anyway, but what had me hollering, cracking up were the Fourth Wing vlogs. So I was like, let me go and see what other people were thinking while they were reading this book. And it was just so hilarious because I watched like 3 vlogs now and I had to stop because some of them had like a spoiler section. And I was like, okay, I'll come back to this section. But it was just so funny because a lot of us have the exact same sentiments while reading this book. Obviously the people that enjoy it, the people that like it. Okay, we're coming up on the last page, so we might as well read it together. It's been a lot going on. You better fight for your boo, Zayden. Zayden. I'm just saying. Last page. Wait a minute, but like what? But like what? But like how? Oh, grabs phone so that I can definitely order Iron Flame. It's only the right thing to do. Like, there's no way that I'm not gonna read the second book. Oh my God. Okay. That was a really good time. That was such a good time. Let me gather myself, darling, and order the next book, and then we'll be back to do our final review. Okay, so I love that the book is written in a way that it is not too serious. This is not the best book ever written. It's not just so profound and extra heavy. And I don't think that Rebecca wanted it to be that way. This is literally my very first fantasy read. And so I really wanted to make sure that I jumped into something that wouldn't be too mentally overwhelming for me. And I thought that this was a really good choice. I don't think that this is for everybody. And that's why I think it's so controversial. Rebecca Yarros is actually a romance writer. This is actually her very first fantasy. So the popularity and success is like, what? I'm just shocked, and congrats to her. The reason I think it did so well is because she wrote it in a way that it does bridge the gap for people that are new to fantasy or that would like to try fantasy. It's still so much going on that like you as a newbie have to get used to, certain language, certain words. There is some world building, but it's not too much. It's very easy to read. It's very fast paced, and it's a really good time. Like, I ate it up. Love a good underdog story. Basketball, football, a book, and life. I do eat that kind of stuff up. I also really like that she had a chronic illness. I think it is so cool when people highlight differences. A lot of people have things that they're going through that you cannot see. Her signet, which is her powers that you get after you are tethered to a dragon. Hers were really cool. Some that you haven't seen in like a very long time. So I just like the way that her character was written. I really like Violet. Love Xaden. Like, at first you're like, am I supposed to like him? Because I don't know, he's on the wrong side. It's crazy because she liked him from the start. She was like a little puppy in heat almost, child, with the amount of lust that she had for him, and almost just like in general. And I had to remind myself, and I do think that other people should take that into consideration when they read the book. She's 20. A lot of them are young. It's like new adult or whatever you call it. 20 is still very young. You make a lot of bad choices. There's a lot of things that are like said, even between like her and Xaden, that are like super cute and have you like kicking your feet and like, oh my God, this is so cute. And then there's other times where it's annoying or it's cringy or you're just like, oh my God, young love. When you're young, you're just so head over heels. You're so in love. You're like, oh my God, I love this person. I just want to grow up with them. This is all for me. This is it. I just love you so much. So it's definitely giving those type of vibes. But again, she's 20. I am nowhere near 20 years old. So I have a lot of compassion and grace for my girl Violet here. The spicy scenes were spicy, okay? And you would almost expect that because again, Rebecca is a romance writer. I feel like I would have to read another fantasy in order to have anything to compare to, because I don't have anything to compare to. I can see the hype, but just because something has a lot of hype doesn't mean that it's so powerful and life-changing and all that. It just means a lot of people are talking about it. So I just feel bad because I think that because it's so popular, people are going into this book with extremely high expectations. And I think you should go into it with really fun expectations, really light expectations, but not anything really more than that. It was fun. I liked it. But anyway, the romance goes from barely anything to like extremely intense. It just was so fast. It was so quick. But again, I can imagine being at that age and being in a situation like she's in and falling quickly for someone. So again, I have a lot of compassion. I have a lot of grace for her. Those are my thoughts, and that is how I feel about The Fourth Wing. I am very glad that I finally got to read a fantasy book, and I am giving this a 4-star rating. And I am obviously going to read Iron Flame because the cliffhanger. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you had fun. I hope that you have gained a little more perspective, as if you already haven't been overloaded on the internet with The Fourth Wing. But hopefully if you're a newbie like me, maybe it gives you a perspective of what it's like for someone very new, extremely new to fantasy, and what that could possibly be like for you, possibly. So you guys have the most amazing day. Don't forget to prioritize self-care, watch more videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. These vlogs, it's only so funny just because I so relate.
Those are just braids. Yeah, this is the handle.
Oh, excuse me, Mikey and all of his sass.
What?
I would like to be 20 again and be lusting and just riding dragons.